Yeah! Ha ha ha. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Death Row between first UK, played by Moscov, Leaf playing infantryman, and he's going up against Diversity Ally 90, open brackets they them, playing as the 20th Polish Circle. So let's do the deck reviews and then we'll get on with the deployment. Right, so this is the deck review for Moscov, who's playing first UK. Looking at it, yeah, we'll go through it tab by tab. First UK, interesting division. Essentially, you do a armored push at the start with the cheapo chieftains and some warriors, etc. And then you sort of back that up into air spam, and late game you've got a couple options. Um, is it a good div? I don't know. I think it's fairly mid, to tell you the truth. Looking at the tabs, so yeah, 3 cards of supply is sensible, and these all come at 1 per card, so you can't change them up. You just have to do that, which is really weird. The UK is like the only nation in the game that has this weird logistics problem where its supply cards only come at 1 per card. On the inf tab, so we've got some Terrier Paras here, and they've been up vetted. I don't know, for 5 points more you get a Carl Gustav and the same availability. So I would be paying the 5 points more for the Carl Gustav. I mean, it is better. You know, more rounds, more range, more accuracy, more pen, more suppression. 323 is pretty high. I think above like 250 you might stun an enemy or rout them. It's a bit RNG. Anyway, so yeah, he's gone for those. And then between these, he's gone for the forward deployed Milan. I don't recommend that because you get a forward deployed Milan here. So this forward deployed Milan, you're not getting a free rank of veterancy on this, unlike most forward deployed Milans. You're not actually getting a free rank of veterancy here. So you might as well get this one, and then you can bring it in the Spartan MCT, which is 40 points for a Milan 2 carrier. It's got bad stealth, but it's got 2 armor and it's got smoke. It's really not bad. It's actually pretty decent. And, you know, if you need Milan somewhere fast, you use this, right? And if you need Milan somewhere slow, then you would use this. Then rifles in the Bedford, yeah. Rifles in the Bedford, yeah. And then arm rifles in the Warrior Applique and arm rifles in the Warrior Applique. So that's one way you can do it. But you will struggle, you know, what happens if you get to a city? How are you going to fight? You don't have any assault pioneers. I guess you could try and use the SAS patrol with the satchels and the MP5s, but these are like long range recon, so you've not got any guys in there. So this is how I build my inf tab. You'll see my logic tab's actually identical. This is how I build my. Actually, I've got the Rover instead of the Sultan because I like that. I mean, 3, and it's cheaper, right? But this is wheeled. Anyway, so I bring the arm rifles in the Warrior Applique at 2 vet, and then which you don't have to do. But then I also bring gun groups in the Warrior Milan. So the gun group, you only get 4 guys for 30 points, which isn't great, really. But that's like, it's just cheaper warriors. It's just cheaper warriors. So you can get 3 of these for 240 points, right? And, you know, I've got them high vetted, but you can also low vet them. And then I've only got 1 card of rifles. It turns out I actually bring the Milan 2 in the Rover, the regular one. It's up to you. You can do whichever one you want, right? This having bad stealth does make it a bit of a problem, and it makes the card quite expensive. So if you need Milan somewhere, you know you can only buy 2 of these in a minute. You can only buy 2 of these in a minute as well. Anyway, then I've got the Assault Pioneers, no vet. So that's how I do that tab. And then, hang on. Okay, it's weird. I've got 2 UKs. But yeah, I mean this can work. RT tab, so M109s, yes, good. Abbots, no. If you don't want to change anything, if you really want to use this, just upvet these. There you go. Problem sorted. The Abbot, maybe it's useful for smoke at the start of the game. That's literally it. That's the only use case. Useful for smoke at the start of the game because it's 17k range, whereas this is only going to be 5,600, and this is like twice the price. So yeah, that would be a better way to build it, in my humble opinion. Then tank tab, so yeah, you've got enough CVs. Always bring 3 cards of CVs. You do see some top max level pros bringing 2 cards, and then I beat them because I kill all their CVs. And then they start getting very, very agitated. No, I won that game. Well, maybe you should have brought 3 cards of CVs. So, yeah, Challenger Mark 2s, and then Chieftain Mark 11. It's up to you. And then the Challenger Mark 3s, he's bringing at 2 vet. So he gets half as many as he otherwise would. I mean, it can work if you're confident you can keep these alive all game, sure. But I get the impression that he wants to play an early game anyway, given that that's what First UK is about, and also the air tab. So yeah, challenges, Chieftain Mark 9s, and then Chieftain Mark 11s, and the Rover Milan. So yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, this card has got a lot better, and I haven't actually played First UK since it got better. So maybe it's worth bringing now, but I actually didn't used to bring this. And I max vet my Chieftain Mark 9s, and then just bring them all at the start, and then swap into Chieftain Mark 11s and these, which I had down vetted, but it's up to you. It can work. And yeah, you obviously want the Rover SS Patrol. You obviously want, I say obviously, so 35 points or 45 for a better RPG. I think I bring the one with the better RPG because basically you can sneak these guys around, do some funnies. You can also put them in a Lynx, and then you can really sneak them around and do the funnies. But it's up to you. Then this thing. So this has very good optics for 15 points, or you can pay 25. So this is interesting, isn't it? So this is the one I bring, and it's got exceptional optics. Basically, the point of this unit is you put it with your tanks. So you shift F and then click on your tank, and it'll follow your tank around and give it very good optics. But for 10 points more, you get exceptional optics, and actually this has smoke, but you lose 1 availability. So yeah, I can see this working. The fact that there's no scimitar is actually quite surprising. No scimitar here, although I guess how would you fit it in? Unless you've got 3 points hanging about. And then the Gazelle, yeah, Recon Helo, useful. But yeah, scimitars can be useful for sneaking around the back line and hurting people. AA tabs, so do you need 8 track Trapiers? You could get rid of this, and then that's 2. And then you could get rid of this, and that's 3. And then you could get your scimitars, or you could get, some tanks and put the RT back in, or you could get your assault pioneers. And yeah, I've been experimenting with bringing FB 432s at the start, but yeah, whatever. You see my point, right? So that's a way you can sort that out, and then you can just downvet this. I mean, yeah, that's how I would do it. Helo tab, Lynx Hellarm, and then Gazelle rockets. Yeah, that's normal. The Gazelle rockets are really useful. On second UK, you can get away with not bringing them because you get the Lynx rockets in your transports. But yeah, 6 of these can do a lot of work. Just got to use them properly. You don't use them in the front line. You use them to sort out people moving through your back line and stuff like that. If the enemy does a big push, then you can just stick 6 of them on them, fire all your rockets, get out of there. You got to use them basically all 6 together because they've only got 12 rockets each. And then the air tab, so yeah, so he's playing it air heavy. Tornado C, well, Tornado Fighter. To be honest, this is so inefficient for 250 points. You just compare it to the Su-25. Basically, these missiles got nerfed a while back, and they just didn't tell anybody about it. And compare it to the Su-25, which costs the same. The Su-25 is so much better. And then yeah, the seed one, and then yeah, you send the seed out with the HE and the cluster and the. So this is a dive bomber. I'd be tempted to swap this out for this, but I mean, it's neither here nor there, really. I mean, this has a different use case. The use case is if an enemy breaks through, you bomb him. Whereas these are for you put them with the seed and you play it quite aggressively. So that's it for the first UK player. His opponent had a really, really interesting name. And he's playing the 20th Polish division. So we'll get through this now. So first card, yeah, 3 cards of supply and a CV. You'll notice that these are come at multiple per card, right? So I would be tempted to, I mean, this, I guess the idea is that this is, you put it at the back and then you use it to refill these, because you're not getting this near the front line. If your micro can handle it, you do make some cost efficiency savings there, given that, you know, this is 1,000 for 40, which would be 1,500 for 60, whereas this is 55. Whoa! Let's get this. But if you're in a team game, the helicopter one does work because you can take it to and from fobs, and the distance is greater, so I can understand it. Inf tab, so BMP2s, one up vetted, one down vetted. Yeah, there's something a bit weird about the Polish BMP2s is that they come at because it's with the Piechota ZMech as opposed to the Piechota, sorry, the Piechota ZMech SVD as opposed to the Piechota ZMech regular. They've got like quite a poor veterancy curve, so this goes 853, whereas if you you know, let's say you want to bring BMP2s here, this is 964. So you actually get one more per card if you're playing as the Soviets, or even as the East Germans, from what I remember, in the new ninth. The new ninth, we've got, yeah, look, 964. Whereas the Poles lose out because their infantry squad has a lower availability. So I actually bring them both at no vet. That's actually my deck there. Yeah, so I actually bring them both at no vet. But yeah, one at one vet and one at no vet, I guess. Yeah, whatever. And then BWP one spam. So these don't have smoke, but they're very, very cost efficient. Look at that for 25 points. And then you compare it to Dragon. They cost the same. They cost the same. Look, use your eyes. So now that you've used your eyes, we can get back to the deck review. Basically, if it was up to me, all of the M113A etc. So like this would go down to 15. This would then be able to go down to 20, and something like this, which has an MMG, would go down to 10. That's how I would do it, but you know, it's not up to me. So yeah, and then Scott to a Saperzi. Okay. Paying 5 points for KPVT. Sure, whatever. I mean, it does more damage, but the range is the same. I mean, the PKT as well, I guess. If it's useful, sure. I personally, I think I just bring this one, but I can't remember. 5 points isn't that much, so it doesn't really matter. And then Saperzi, Stormzy, and they're also in the Scott 2-8. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting more value out of it, you might as well go for it. And then, yeah, the Bassoon. He is, of course, the Bassoon ally, and he's bringing that in a BWP one. So, I mean, he's got a bit of an infantry problem, right? I'd be tempted to. I mean, do you need this? I'd be tempted to try and fill this slot somehow. Arty tab. Well, there's a good candidate. So, yeah, 120mm mortar. You should be bringing it in the Scott 2. Because, so not only is it faster, it's also armoured. Faster off-road, faster on-road. It's also armoured, and it's got a gun, which, you know, whatever. The idea is that if you get counter-batteried, you can load it back up to into the Scott 2, and you'll probably survive. Whereas if you load it back up into the Star will probably go poof. So 5 points more for that is definitely worth it. And then, like, 3 1-vet Danners. So don't get me wrong, the Danner is incredibly good. Right, and then if you put a CV next to it, then it's becoming 2-vet. But look at, I mean, that's 3 AP right there. And, okay, now you've got 2 Danners. and they fire a bit slower. Okay, but now you can fill this out. Ta-da, you know, and then you can start betting these perhaps, or whatever. You can use it somewhere else. So I'd be tempted to not be bringing 3 Danos in a 1v1 anyway. I think 2 is the optimum number of heavy howitzers in a 1v1. In team games, yeah, go wild, whatever. Although obviously, if you just sit at the back Artian, your team will lose. But you can afford to bring like 4 heavy howitzers in a team game, no problem. But in a 1v1, I think 3 is a bit excessive. But yeah, you know, like that's costing you 3 AP, and I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, you know, you could do that if you want, and then you don't lose 2 AP. But I personally would keep it like this. Then okay, so then you've got the Wilk, which is the only T-72 with max gun range, is pretty good. And yeah, you got to always bring your tanks at 1 vet. Doesn't matter what people say, always bring them at 1 vet. So yeah, then the T-72M1s, then the T-72Ms. The difference between these two, you might say 2 armor, does it matter? Yeah, it does, because this will survive a 30 AP plane missile. Every single anti-tank plane in the game fires a 30 AP plane missile except 2. And those are the T8M in 27Y, which you never see, and the Magister on 152 easy, which you never see. So, so this is a big difference. Frankly, I think this is just a little bit too cost effective. Also, this doesn't have smoke actually. Interesting. Um, so maybe it's not too cost effective. And then yeah, those, and then T55 AS, and then command tank. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, always bring three cards. I think that's wise. And some Maryutka carriers, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, let's say you didn't fill this out, then you could bring more Maryutka carriers, right, or something like that. But yeah, imagine, like, you could even bring the Wusu for your town fights. Like, if you're gonna have all these guys on no vet, don't you want the military police with them to help buff their suppression regeneration? It takes like 7.5 minutes for a unit at green to get its cohesion back from 0 cohesion. It takes like 3 minutes for a 1 vet one. That's why it's so much better. So if you put military police next to your 0-1s, then that would help, right? And then you can use these in the town, and because you clearly want to fight towns, right? 9 men for 45 points, they're not bad, right? Whatever works for you. But yeah, if you weren't to do that, you could get more tanks, although I don't think you need more tanks. Recon tabs, so yeah, you need to bring these in the honkers, which is the correct option. Basically, you don't have airborne forward deployment on this division, but what you do get is special forces, and the special forces go faster. Like, this isn't 100, this is more like 120. It also changes with vet. So if you're max vet, you go even faster. So, so this is the correct play. So this is exceptional optics. You bring it for the you just put it with your tanks. Click it, Shift F, click on your tank. It'll follow your tank around, give you tank exceptional optics. Yeah, you need that. The alternative is you can get this at very good optics, but I mean it's for 10 points more, I'd be getting this. It's got smoke, it's got more armor. Then you've got some sapper satchel guys, also at no vet. Tri horse. I mean, it's tracked for starters. And it's 30 points for that. Ah, mate, just forget it. I mean, you can't sell it. It's got smoke. It's got mediocre stealth, which is something, I guess. But, I mean, and it's got good optics, actually, which I suppose is why it costs 30 points. So, yeah, you can use it as a recon unit. But you've already got the Honker Reeses as your recon units. And you've got even more recon. And you brought in the Honker Reese for the speed rather than the BRDM2. Because yeah, you get the special forces speed, but I suppose the gun as well. I mean, this has armor, but this is faster off-road, and it's cheaper, and this is your opener anyway, so... But yeah, whatever, maybe you want to do that as well, but this is only a 3-man team. I wouldn't... I'd probably just bring in this, to be honest. But... This thing's really good. Don't sleep on it. 4 PKTs is actually pretty impressive. I've had some clutch moments with and against this thing. Those 4 PKTs, people think, oh, it's just PKT. They run at it and it kills them. AA tab, so upvetted cubs. I mean, you're losing half your availability for 5% accuracy. You've just gained another 3 AP. Oh, my parcel's hit. Sorry about that quick edit there, guys. It's my birthday, so people keep sending me stuff. So that's 3 AP for 5% accuracy on your cubs. It's not worth it. Um, don't bother bringing this unless they're gonna buff it. I mean, the anti-healer range is too small. This thing, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're probably all right up there in that. Probably all right up there in that. There is currently a funny meme strat where you just park a bunch of these and just run them at people. Given that they can't be targeted by ATGMs anymore, if they've got IFVs, you're dead, right? If they've got loads of BTR-70s, you're dead because they outrange you. But if they don't, you can get pretty far with it. But yeah, if you don't want to do that, you could just save those 3 points. You could come back and do your funny Dana thing. You could come back and sort this out, right? You could add a recon helo. It's just not worth 3 AP to get 5% accuracy on your cubs. Just doesn't make any sense. Helo tab. So, yeah, you could get some extra helicopters. These are kind of overpriced if you ask me, but I mean, hey, this isn't overpriced. And so you could get, there you go, you get some more helos. Go into the plane tab, so you don't have any fighters at all. I mean, these aren't fantastic, but I would recommend bringing at least one of them. So you've got a rocket plane here for anti-ground, and then, like, you can bring another bomber or whatever, but I would recommend bringing this one, because like this can't shoot a helicopter. So basically this would be a helo killer, which if the enemy overextends, you can just chuck a couple of them at him. Like, you're not going to be winning air fights, but if he passes over your AA net, then you can hit him, and you might win, because then he's got to pass back over your AA net to evac. So that's that. And now let's get back to the deployments. Right, so looking at the, well, okay, I'll just start again. Right, so let's talk about Death Row. There's a reason this isn't in ranked, and that's because it's not fair. Red gets a pretty big advantage on this map. Basically, they can get into here at the start, and they get up to here at the start. So you're getting 75% of this zone for free. The enemy literally gets a house, which he has to hide behind for the whole game. And you're also getting, the best part of this zone as well, because like this all the trees got taken out, right? So you're also getting the best part of this zone. So that's pretty rad. In terms of the matchup, I think Polish Circle is a bit stronger than First UK. First UK has a much better early game, but they um, they fall off hard, and the Chieftains are really cost inefficient compared to T-72s. Um, and the Warriors get popped by T-72s like nobody's business. Although they do have the range advantage with the ATGMs, the T-72s tend to win that engagement, particularly on Death Row, where like from here to here, that's ATGM ground, but here to here, like that's 2,000 meters, so that's always in tank gun range. Even with the lower range of the T-72s. So I would expect first UK to do well early and then lose. So especially given that red has the best side. So we got a recon BMP or BWR, I guess as the Poles call it, and then a BMP-1 going over here, just dropping somebody off there. Surprised he's put in a, I mean that's quite a big investment for that really. Well, okay, I guess it's not. It's only 65 points. Blimey. And yeah, the way Polish Circle is played is you just spam. You've got BMP2s, and then you spam out BMP1s with T72s behind them, and then you should just blob your enemy and kill him. Basically, it's just like a bad version of Ninth. Well, okay, it's not bad. It's like a slightly worse version of Ninth East German Panzer Division, which also gets 2 cards of BMP2s and also gets loads of T72s. Do you see what I mean? But anyway, so he's forward deploying. We spoke about these in the deck review. They've got recon deployment, not airborne deployment, but they've got special forces, which means they go faster. So we'll see if he gets there before this. Oh, in fact, Moscov's not even going for that. Interesting. So yeah, he will get to all those positions first because there's no competition. And then he's backing that up with a BMP-2, 2 T-72s, 2 Cubs, BMP-1, which is going Bravo, Charlie, and then presumably Echo. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you play on the red team, you need 2 CVs for this map anyway, because Charlie and then sit in Echo, and Bravo and then sit in Alpha. So opening 1, I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd open 2, but you can always buy it later, right? But it's just like for the sake of 70 points, you might as well just buy it now. And then yeah, 2 more recons going over to here. And then a Saperzi and a Saperzi Stormzy. They're going in there. And then the new Stormzy burger, now available at McDonald's, is coming around over to the right here. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Moscov here. And his forward deployment seems to be centered mainly around Alpha, as we spoke about before. He's actually only got one. He's got a unit going here, but he seems to have just abandoned Echo. When you're playing on the weaker side, and this is the weaker side, you have to switch it up, right? Because if you try fighting both of these zones, you're going to have a disadvantage in both of these zones. So I appreciate what he's doing here, which is he's going to try and rush down Alpha, it seems. So we've got some Terry Paras, a Milan 2 team. That's deploying quite far back, actually. But yeah, fair enough. And then more Terrier Paras, and then another Milan 2 team going in here, and then an SAS Patrol coming in here as well. Backed up by 2 Tracked Rapiers, a Chieftain Mark 9, a Chieftain Mark 11 command. Yeah, Milan 2 for here. And then on the right, just some scouts. A Warrior Applique, which is just depositing its guys there and then sitting here. It's a pretty good position, actually, because it can shoot up here and stuff. And a Sultan going for Foxtrot Echo. And this CV is not going to cap Delta, it's just going straight to off. Yeah, I mean, so if I was doing this, I would have a couple less infantry in this, and 1 more chieftain and a smoke mortar. So like, how much is this? 140, and this is 75. So you could get rid of these 2, and then get another chieftain, but then you wouldn't be able to get a smoke mortar. Presuming that all the points have been spent here. Actually, have all the points been spent here? I guess we'll watch the game and see if a bunch of planes show up. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joinerifying the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. Great way to support the channel. I am now an unemployed PhD student. My funding ran out because I was too lazy. I should have worked harder, I guess. I'm still writing the PhD. So yeah, I do appreciate it. At the highest tier, the tier 4 channel members, you get your games cast. That's a great way to learn, right? It's a great way to learn, support the channel, etc., etc. I just like money, loads, basically, and I don't want to get a job, so... Anyway, so as you can see, these guys got here pretty fast, even though they were not airborne deployed, and these men have to unload, and they are not doing so, so they will die. Front one dies, second one gets out. So there you go, that could have been your smoke mortar. These men, they're only 4-man teams, but they are backed up by Saperzi Stormzy, who's a British rapper, if you're wondering why I keep constantly saying that wrong. And this Milan 2 is just getting smacked about by these honkers. The Special Forces trait making them quite powerful. So these Terriers, they're caught out in the open, and everybody's shooting them. And this Milan 2 really was put too far away to be useful. So I stand by that comment. Over here, this warrior pleat could beat all that feasibly, but he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know what's there. And so now this Sultan's going to try and get back up here, but there's a honker here. And the Rosb, they're coming as well, the Rozzers. So here comes the armoured push from a Soon ally, and that's going to really start messing up these Milan 2s. I mean, there is recon here, but keep in mind that buildings are a lot less stealthy than they used to be. And you see he's already down to 1 HP, he's hit 1, and it's not even done half the damage. Chieftains are just really, they just can't compete with these. I mean, this is like 20 points more, it's so much better. It's just, the auto-loaded fire rate, the extra armor, etc, etc, etc. Extra top armor as well. So these special forces, they're pretty fast because they're special forces. And, okay. So he's going to try and cluster it. The Cubs are opening up. First shot hit is pretty unlucky. The second shot misses. And that guy, I mean, the tornado goes down, which honestly you'd expect from 2 Cubs, especially given that, as we know, they're up-vetted Cubs. That guy couldn't, like, Bassoon ally could not have done a worse job of trying to dodge that. Basically, it drops in a big long line, and he just sort of went forwards through the trees. If he'd come this way, it would have been fine. If he'd gone this way, it would have been fine, but he didn't. He just sort of went forwards. So, over here, the Saperzi, they do have the Komar. And you see the Gazelle rockets are really good if the enemies do breakthroughs, as I was talking about there. I mean, that one died to a Honker Reese. You see that they are quite weak. I mean, he needs to get that out of there. It's going to die. And once you get, there it goes. But yeah, the Warrior Replete should really be cleaning that up. This is like a very cost-efficient IFV. It's NATO's equivalent to the BMP2, basically. And that's the problem with First UK. Like your AA, like the range is just not good, whereas this is like 2 kilometers more. So the points are even, and that's mainly because Bassoon ally didn't buy 2 CVs, and so we'll probably lose this position. Although this guy might die now, because they have 18 pen, which means they one-shot 4 armor, which incidentally is how much armor this has, and that's apparently just in range. That was a near miss, which is why it dealt limited damage there. Rapiers get a shot up on that. The Milan 2's been spotted by the BWR. Obviously, optics are better now. And yeah, it does actually hit that. The Saperzi, they've got the Komar, but I mean, yeah, it's a Komar. And yeah, I don't agree with buying this Dana this early in the game when the enemy's in your zone. This could have been an extra 2 BMP2s. Imagine if you had 2 BMP2s here. It'd be going better, right? How much has this contributed? It's not even fired yet. Artillery takes a long time to pay off, and that's just, you need to know that. That needs to be ingrained in your brain. Artillery takes a long time to pay off, and then that will, then you won't buy it if you need units now, right? Incidentally, so do planes, even though obviously their alpha, right, their alpha damage, their burst damage is high. As soon as you buy it, it's going to come in and kill something. But generally what it's going to kill, right, depending on what it is, heavy tanks die very easily to AT planes, right? But AT missile planes, for cost efficiency. But if you bomb like a 45-point infantry unit, and your bomber costs 165 points, let's say it's a MiG-21 BIS HE or something, then you have to do that 3 times if you want to pay for yourself. So yeah, the Terriers here, they're doing their best, but I mean, really, there's just a lot of bad guys there. And this Warrior's coming in now. This Chieftain isn't really contributing. These Terriers should probably get out, but I don't know if they'll survive. There is supply back here. But yeah, these guys are actually out of AT. So the fact that this, I mean, I guess he didn't know, right? He doesn't see what we see. He doesn't know what's coming up behind this. There should be more stuff coming up behind this, but there isn't. And you see that, this Danner at 215 points has so far failed to kill a 60-point Warrior Replique, and that's basically his claim to fame. So here you go. So the Warrior Replique's coming in here now, and this will just start messing all this up. I mean, this T-72 should have been healed, really. There's a supply truck here for that, to do that. And you'll note that these didn't get their supply back in either. And so Moscov, he's managed to get back into the game, and a lot of that is to do with just Red's purchases. I mean, he's playing very well with what few units he has here. He's microing them very well. But Red, Red buying this Dano was really not smart. And then Red also overextended a bit. Like, if he just held this with infantry, this little thing here, they wouldn't have been able to get back in so quickly. But he was, like, zooming his honkers all the way out. So yeah, the Dana, I mean, it's shooting, it's not going to hit anything, and the Warrior Replique's just cleaning up here. Obviously, the Wilk will mess that up a lot. And, okay, so another plane purchase from Red. I mean, he needs stuff on the ground, really. He's bought 2 planes now. One of them killed a Chieftain Mark 11 command tank, which made a lot of sense, actually. And so you see, okay, so that killed that. Great. But it's 155 points, and that was a 40-point unit. So he's got to do that 3 times. 4 times. He's got to do that 4 times to pay for himself. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, Tornado's out now, and that should spot the... To be honest, yeah, I mean, the Rapiers, they can't intercept. They can only avenge. And as you can see, the Chieftain Mark 9, it's got more pen than... Well, they've got the same pen at the same rate. To be honest, I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, the Chieftain Mark 9 did more damage, even though that's got more armor, and... Like, that must have been like a near miss or something. I mean, something weird happened there. Or this was like side shot or something, I don't know. That was a bit odd. Because that shouldn't have gone that way, really. This should have taken more damage than that, surely. I mean, it's got less armor. Anyway, he's dead now, unless he smokes immediately. Okay, they're not shooting the right thing. But yeah, they fire very slowly, and it's not auto-loaded. Okay, so now he's trying to smoke, but the smoke is reloading. Alright, there we go. But you can see the issue, right? And so, the Bassoon ally needs to get a CV into here, really. And he really should have opened 2 CVs. And he really shouldn't have bought that Dana so early. But yes, he is getting some Rapiers there, track Rapier. So, and the second one just got killed by the T-72, so now there's no AA here. Which is the problem with the track Rapiers, basically. You've got to get him really close. The Chieftain Mark 9 just died. Wow, it's not looking good for blue at all. He was getting somewhere there, but not anymore. That's sort of the problem with the Rapiers. They've got low range, so you've got to bring them really close, and they're not cheap at all. Okay, that was a weird salvo. But you see, this reloads really fast. Literally 16 seconds on those rockets. It's just the way it works. Basically, the rockets all have the same resupply cost. Dumbfire rockets all have the same resupply cost regardless of caliber. So even though those are 240mm ones, they reload as fast as 4 not 240mm ones. So yeah, the Challenger Mark III is basically, that is capable of beating these T-72s. So that's something. But yeah, no Javelin in here. Just relying on the Rapiers is always risky, and he's just bought 4 now. I mean, he literally could have just bought another Tornado and 1 of these, right? I mean, this is 400 points, Tornado's 250. I'm not sure what happened to it. I mean, did he evac it? It should be up all the time, really. Could have bought another one. This is going to die. I mean, it's going to get side shot, and if it doesn't, that AT plane is going to kill it. So that was very sad. Both happened, but yeah, I mean, it was going to shoot 2 missiles anyways. Yeah, that wasn't great, but he didn't know about this because he doesn't have air optics, because he doesn't have the plane up, and these don't have radar, so they can't detect planes from far away, so he wouldn't have seen this until it fired. Arm rifle's getting taken out there. Now Red's taking back, what is that, Echo? It's not looking good for blue at all. It's not looking good for blue at all. But, yeah, I mean, at least Red's starting to resupply his tanks now. Like, he's got a lot of low tanks here. He's bought a bunch of planes now to take out these Challengers and Chieftains and stuff. It seems to be working mainly because Blue's Air Force is tracked rapiers as opposed to a plane. I'm not sure what happened to that tornado that was back here. Maybe it's just resupplying. But yeah, if you're playing first UK, you need air superiority. I always bring 4 tornadoes. I mean, they shouldn't cost what they cost, or they should make the missiles better again, especially if you compare it to an Su-25. But certainly against this Polish div, and a Polish div which, from the deck review, which I know you didn't skip, has no ASFs. He didn't even bring the bad ones, right? Okay. I think this one's hidden. But yeah, the Chieftain Mark 9, not so lucky there. And the quadruple rapier gets it. Okay, so seeds out. Fires at the cubs. Fires at the cubs twice and gets 1. The cub gets him. And will it die now? Yeah, it does. Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? Anyway, you know, Red is buying way too many planes, basically. He needs more ground stuff. He needs to be stacking the T-72s. Particularly, like, here. You know, like, buying 4 tracked rapiers is overkill, but if your enemy just dives them all with his planes and loses all his planes, which is what just happened there, then, yeah, the tracked rapiers were a good purchase. So yeah, over here, the rifles, you know, they're getting lit up and need to get back. There's a bit of a missed micro here, like these fire support assets didn't come through straight away, but I think he will save the rifles and hopefully he buys a supply and gets that sorted. I don't know if that can see you there. Keep in mind that forest stealth actually got buffed. Whereas building stealth got nerfed. So buildings used to have a 3.5 times stealth multiplier. That went down to... Okay, that's a problem. Because it's stunned, it can't smoke. Although I think he just lost vision there. I think he's going to die. Oh, that one missed. What about this one? That one missed as well. Okay. He's got to get back anyway. And then, yeah, Lynx Hell Arms is a good idea, given that this guy has literally not bought a single AA unit apart from the Cubs. There's no Shorad here at all. So, arm rifles trying to push back into here. The Sapezi, I think, aren't visible. But yeah, there's no Shorad here, right? It's just the Rapiers. Which I guess counts as Shorad, but they're, you know, too far back. Whereas Javelins, you know, they've got better stealth. And we know they're in his deck from the deck review. So you can push those up with your infantry because they've got exceptional stealth like your scouts. And that would be very useful here, whereas this man is now dead. And, you know, Blue just pushed back again. It's just bad news for Blue all round. This is shooting now, which, I mean, if this recon moves up, they'll be able to see it. Incidentally, like, sniper noise, like the noise a sniper makes when it shoots, didn't, it went down, actually. Small arms went up, but DMRs went down. Anyway, so yeah, there's finally going to be something happening here. Oh, okay. I thought he was just going to come down here. I mean, he would get in. So he doesn't see what we see, but... So yeah, Lynx Hell Arms doing work, and because this man didn't bring an ASF, not even the Helo Hunter, he's forced to use these rocket planes if he wants to shoot these Hell Arms. And then he flies over CV updated Rapiers, which have 65% accuracy. And when you're right over them, the accuracy goes up again, so... You know, it scales with range, so that's obviously going to be a problem. So yeah, this can just beat that up, but the Rapiers, which he should know about because they just shot his plane, you know, because it's got a gun on it, it could have shot this Hell Arm, but I mean, that was just a bit odd. You see, this is now 3-vet because of that kill it got on the plane. I mean, that survived somehow. There you go. So this is the last Challenger Mark III, as we know he's only got 2, and the tracked Rapiers need to start moving now. Yeah, what can I say? Red is dominate at the moment. I'm surprised by his decision making on, like, I mean, he's obviously swapped into ground-based units now. But yeah, he was buying a few too many planes before, and it's all about the ATGMs, really. I mean, if the ATGMs suppress you, then you just start showing side armor and doing all sorts of wacky stuff like that. Although the Challenger smoke saves the Chieftain there, gives it time to very, very, very slowly rotate. And yeah, I think Red needs to stop pushing for a few seconds and just, you know, load up these, sort this out. But I mean, it's looking pretty convincing. Looking pretty convincing for Red. So more Hell Arms out for Blue. I mean, Red is overextending here. Like, he just lost 3 BMP ones. Which is not great. And yeah, supply finally purchased for this rifles. And if you recall, the arm rifles died, right? Warrior Replete gets stunned up immediately. These guys are getting side shot and all sorts. Serial AT planes back. And it's not the one from, it's got the similar name to the one from Red Dragon, but I think it's not the one from Red Dragon, the really good one from Red Dragon. I think that one's out of time frame. But there you go, Chieftain Mark 11 command taken out. Rapiers don't even kill that. What happened to that tornado, man? Did it die? I mean, it should definitely be back up now. It must have died or something. Or he's just not bringing it out. The Rapier's now getting RT'd and getting ATGM'd. Although that missed. I mean, it's only got 5% accuracy, but so did this, and it's got 60. Rapier takes out that MI-24, which was bullying. And yeah, I mean, they're coming over the ridgeline and getting shot. Why don't they just sit here and like take this as well? I think Red's getting a bit too aggressive, really. As you can see, the power of the Chieftain Mark 11 is not that much. It's okay, so Seed's out, shoots at the Cubs, gets them both this time, but there's a Strela here now. And I guess, I mean, as we know from the deck review, he's got a lot of planes, but he's been losing them, like, that's his last Seed plane, basically. Yeah. Rifles go down there. This Challenger's fighting the good fight, but it's just all about the suppression. 2 of these, and this doesn't work for 2 minutes. I mean, it said 2 there. It's still 2 minutes, right? If it was 3 there, it'd be like 1 minute. And if it was 1 there, it'd be 3 minutes, or and what have you. So, cluster going in on that T-72M. This is always the problem with using these things, because when you get stunned, you can't pop your smoke, and then... Right, but that cluster plane takes out that T-72M1, and it is still here for some reason. It's now just flying over the enemy and soaking up Strela 10M shots, apparently. Although that, because he's put it behind a building, like, that could have fired twice. But because it was behind this building, it was blocked when the guy was over here, you know, because the building's blocking its line of sight. As you can see, you know, if there's a plane behind this blue thing, you can't see it, right? That was almost a side shot. This has 5 damage and this has 6 HP. That was a side shot. I mean, he didn't really react there from the first one. And yeah, the Lynx Hell Arms are doing alright simply because Red isn't buying. I mean, he should really have more AA. There's so many Lynx Hell Arms out here. And you know, you get enough of them, you can just start dueling this. So Jaguar HE coming out now. And that takes that guy out no problem. And so this is his last Cub, I think. I think we've seen 3 Cubs die. That Hell Arm gets double tapped by the Strela 10M. Strela 10M does not survive. And yeah, the Chieftain Mark 11's trying to kill the BMP2s. Warrior Replique as well. Yeah, the Warrior Replique's pretty good match for the BMP2. Basically, it's this has more pen, but it's got less range, basically. And the sidearm of the Warrior Replique's better. They cost the same, but Warrior Replique only comes on first UK, so whereas the BMP2 is absolutely everywhere. So Chieftain Mark 11 will die in 1 hit to this missile, and it fires 2. As you can see, first one just one-shot it, and there's only 1 track Rapier here now, and I just don't understand what happened to that Tornado ASF. And that survives. Here it is. I don't know if this is the second one or the first one. Just finally brought it back out. But yeah, +4 now to Bassoon ally. Warrior Pleat trying to sneak around the side here. Yeah, there is a Sultan coming up here, and there isn't much left here, but I mean, there's not much left here either. We always knew it was going to be an uphill battle, right? I mean, it's pretty rough if you're first UK in this case. So Bedford supply goes down. Scouts are on holding fire, so they're not shooting that. And okay, so the armoured push is coming back here, but this chieftain might get side shot. He turns to face it, and yeah, you see now this is basically useless. Go back to the smoke. He needs a supply. He needs a recon here. He needs those ferrets from the deck review, right? I prefer the Wizu or whatever it's called. I can't remember. Yeah, this really needs to get out of here. I think it's just dead, to tell you the truth. Okay. Like, why is he bringing it back? What's he doing? Oh my gosh, is he gonna hit that thing? Okay, he needs a challenger to help him out there. And yeah, so Red's counter pushed here now, because there was just nothing here. And he's still, right, so he's bought one more AA piece, and it's like, you need more than that, really. The challengers are moving in, but yeah, there's no... Well, neither of these guys have smoke, so they've just got to sit there and fight that. But yeah, this Hellam's cleaning up, because he pushed without AA, and he doesn't have those fighters. If he brought those fighters, as I spoke about in the deck review, those anti-helo ones, he could just dive this. And, you know, I don't watch these games before doing the deck review. I do the deck review first. It's basically in the order you see it. So, okay, so the last Cub goes down now. So now he's down to Strela 10Ms and ground-based Strelas. This guy's got... I was going to talk about his AP, but... Anyway, so the Seed sort of lowers the cohesion on this, which I guess is why it missed. And that tornado, which has been circling, has finally woken up. Decided to do something about this. I think this will get out, actually. Yeah, I was right. It was going to get out. Nope. No, it just got out, I think. It just got out. It just got out. And the tornado went down. Oh, man. You hate to see it. Anyway, this Sultan's going to take this zone, because this T-72 has come out of here. Milan 2's coming in on it, though. Takes it out. I mean, this has high accuracy, 60% there, because of the vet. And, yeah, the Jaguar I would have just tasked onto this, really. But yeah, the Rapiers... I assume the reason he brought so many was so that he could have it up with the armor, right? Given that, you know, same speed, right? But, yeah, he's not doing that. I suppose you could use the Tornado Cluster to shoot this, right? It's really messing you up. Okay, he's coming around with the Jaguar, which still has a Ligma left, and 40 rounds in the gun. Okay. That one's going for the AA. This needs to move. It's on attack move instead of regular move. He's figured it out, but too late. But yeah, this BMP-1's going to come and take this. I mean, Moscov's on a +4. 1978 points to Bassoon ally, I think means that they can only draw now. I think they can only draw now. Because this, you know, this will be a draw. Because it's 1978. But, I mean, what a turnaround. I thought it was basically over from more or less the start. Like, when this push didn't work out, I was like, oh, that's probably it then. T-72 taking names here. Like, this could fight that if it wanted to with the LOR 80, but it's choosing not to. So yeah, this is what I was talking about with the Gazelle rockets, and how they're pretty useful if you blob them up like that. But you've got to micro them properly, right? So what you can do is like shift Q and attack move, and then back order, and then they'll fire all their rockets and get back, as opposed to just standing there and dying, which is what seems to be happening today. So regular rifles should beat Paichota Zedmet because they've got 2 LMGs. They've also got 1 more man, although if all this is helping out, who knows what's going to happen. Challengers weighing in. Jaguar HE2 finally takes out that Mi-24D there. Warrior Pleak trying to take a T-72. I mean, you got to hit it 3 times to do anything. These men are all healing up, although this supply isn't close enough, so this one isn't actually healing. And, this is now dropping its bombs, takes those men out. Challenger Mark II is free to come back in here now. This BMP-1's coming up here, which it's a bit risky, really, given that, you know, there's a tank there and so on. And yes, okay, so somehow this the accuracy on these guns is still 60%. So who knows? Maybe this probably helps as well, actually. AT plane coming in. I don't think it can see this though, and that BMP-1 got shot by the Challenger, I think. Although the explosion's in a weird place. Oh, but maybe it was probably used to be here or something. If you notice, these aren't dying. Anyway, these men only have SMGs, which is why they're not shooting back, because this one man is firing an assault rifle and an LMG at the same time. And, okay, so now Bassoon Ally is fast-pathing himself into Echo the correct way this time. And then he should be able to take this. Well, this could move over. But the fact of the matter is, he can get a draw if he wants it. Or he could just get, you know, 22 points. 22 points on there. So, because the T-72s have 3 top armor, unlike every other medium tank in the game, which has 2, they survive things like that. Whereas if that was 2 top armor, this would be dead. So that's another thing that makes them very, very cost effective. Okay, so these brave gentlemen are going out here, and yeah, I mean, that's interesting, sending that first. And yeah, I suppose the scouts here are the reason he can see all this. So down goes that T-72, which survived that Jaguar, and then presumably this Challenger can move up here. He's finally got a ferret with his tank blob. But yeah, he needs a tracked rapier with it, really. I assume that's why he bought it. So this guy, tries to get down the slope there, but in doing so, gets shot. Whereas if he'd come like behind this, I don't know, would have been okay. But yeah, so I can't remember how many CVs this guy has. I'm pretty sure this is the last one. But you know, he can still get a draw. I think he's basically guaranteed a draw, but it's going to be +4 to Moscov in a second. If he finishes taking this, which I assume he will. And then, yeah, I suppose that this is coming over here. These LOR 80s are, you know, pretty powerful, although with 6 side armor. I believe this will one-shot it to the side, actually. Yeah, I believe this 20 AP one-shot 6 armor. Just doesn't one-shot 7 armor. But there's not many things left with 7 armor. No, it's got 8 side armor. This has 7 side armor, there you go. Oh. So there you go, that got side shot by a 30 AP missile and died. And that's why I like bringing him on 1 there, because just planes just kill him. It's just very annoying. It's like, that was his last Challenger Mark III, basically. Because he only brought him at... He brought him at 2 there, so he was only getting 1 per card. And he lost them both to planes, which is what you'd expect, really. So, Radens will do no damage to that. The rifles, I mean, they've only got 4 rounds. And if they're against front armor, they won't be able to kill these. So as you can see, you need 3 hits. Well, you might actually get 3 hits. At that range, it's kind of hard to miss. He's sending another rifle, so that answers that question. That was side shot. There you go. See, 20 AP, enough to one-shot 6 side armor. So there's a bit of a danger close bombing run there from Moscov. I mean, it's his own guy there. But yeah, it is. It's +2 for. He's bought his first javelin of the game. Actually, there's another one here. Now that all the enemy helicopters are dead, and you see, you know, you can see this because of the ferret, which, you know, you just hold Shift F and click on your Challenger, it'll just follow it around. And Red's just panicking. Oh, he's still got more CVs. Still got more CVs. But yeah, Blue bringing up a Sultan to Alpha. I mean, it's absolutely crazy though. 1978. I'd be molded. I'd be under severe psychological stress if I was this person. So yeah, the Seed can try and fight this, I guess. Looks like he's going for the mortar. Yeah, I think Moscov needs to get better at keeping these track rapiers forwards. But I mean, it's 100 points, and they just died to anything. They've only got 1 armor, so this is now smoking that, I guess, or was. But yeah, it's +4 to Moscov. Red's still got a tank, CV. I don't know how many CVs he's got. I probably should have counted. I just didn't expect the game to go this way, so I didn't. So he's now, using the power of smoke to try and get in zones. But that doesn't really work if your enemy basically owns the whole zone. And yeah, so Moscov here targeting the mortars, doing the smoking. You can do it with planes, or you can buy your own artillery piece. I've noticed he's not bought one, but he was basically behind all game, so I can understand why he didn't. And so yeah, he's going for the other one there. With 8 minutes left on a +4, it's probably enough. Although, there's actually just nothing here. There's nothing here at all. It's just this stuff. Like, blue outnumbers red pretty significantly here. It's a shame these weren't healed up, like this could be healed up. This could be healed up, etc, etc. This could be healed up. This could be resupplied. All these guys, etc, etc. Anyway, so, as you can see, M72 law's not very good, but law 80's a lot better. And well, there you go. There's that psychological damage coming through there. Bassoon ally was so psychologically damaged that he didn't even want the draw. He just surrendered. So if he just waited, it would have been a draw, right? So we got Moscov here, rank 631. And we've got Bassoon ally, rank 916. So if Bassoon ally had waited for the draw, he would have got elo out of that game. Because if 2 players draw, whoever's got the higher elo loses elo, because you should have won that game against the lower elo player, right? So that's just the psychological damage there, massive psychological damage. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the arty purchase at the start, he basically just threw a game. Too many planes really near the start from the red player. He should have just solidified his position once he took those 2 zones, but he kept charging out and sort of threw it all away. But yeah, credit to blue. I mean, he didn't panic. He stayed solid and pushed back in. And look at that KD. Anyways, I'll see you around. GG.